Hi, welcome to the unpaid work topic, which is part of the lecture video lectures I'm recording for the gender economics class, for my gender economics class. So basically, today we will this topic is on uh, well uh, both discuss to some extent the nature of the unpaid work process, although we will do it a little bit more in the one particular type of unpaid work, the care work, more in the next time. But more, we will discuss whether it is worth or not to um, make this unpaid work visible and make it visible in a specific sense, included to the accounting, which is done for paid work in GDP accounts. Um, is it uh, worth and useful to do that, to make this unpaid work visible? And basically, actually, this the one indicator which is accounting for most of the paid work. Actually, there is one type of paid work. It's that's not accounted. Is GDP, and GDP is if you don't know it, it was an indicator which was first created after the Great Depression, 1933, in the United States, by Simon Kuznets, presented to the, I believe, House of Representatives, and then after 1950s, it becomes regular to calculate GDP for most of the countries, actually, at least most major countries. These two videos are actually offering, one of them is critique of GDP as a indicator to use social well-being by Robert Kennedy, not the original not the Kennedy that has become president, but his brother, who actually had been as elected as the Democratic presidential candidate, but assassinated at the before the elections, so he was not able to get elected. So the first video is his critique, and the second video is basically an alternative indicator, Genuine Progress Indicator, which basically is aiming to include different factors that are contributing or reducing social well-being into GDP by turning them to monetary, their contribution or their harm to monetary units. It is something harm, and it is something hard, and something that's also criticized by people, mainly because GDP has a special indicator, which is basically measuring production level in the market system. And in the market system, the values are more or less given by the society as the prices are fixed within the market. But in genuine progress indicator, basically, you need to assign prices. You do it very carefully. You take them from the market. You take market economics also prices, but still it has some artificial flavor in it, in terms of harms and benefits, especially. And whether those harms and benefits that are not exactly bought and sold things in the market can be measured in monetary sense is another thing. I mean, and if it is, for example, not be able to, you cannot measure it in monetary sense. Does it mean there's no harm? There's so it is. It takes something that isn't exactly within the market and brought it to be measured by a market concept. However, it is done, and there's also some defense for doing that, and we will see that in today's lecture. So the first videos are genuine progress indicator, and in the last part, actually, we will also discuss the alternatives of GDP as a measurement. Let's continue. Well, today, out of the 5 articles. We will see three. The first one and the main one is the Beneria article, which is basically describes the whole paid work, unpaid work debate, different aspects of it, methods used on it, in to basically make unpaid work visible, and critiques to that method. And then we will see Folbre, which is kind of bringing up different methodologies and sum up the valuing process of non-market work, basically, as a project. It's more like, it's not discussions, but focus on the methodology. And then we have Himmelwald. He basically puts more context of how basically this unpaid economic system is standing out in the overall economic system, within the overall economic system, and the importance of making it visible, and what is being closed with that's not visible, basically. So kind of it shows basically there's a part of economic system which is interacting with other parts but not taken into account when making economic policies, and how this might actually make those economic policies relatively more ineffective. So this is our course plan, and the articles are this is Himmelwald's article, which he wrote alone. This is Folbre's article, more colorful. It is actually supported by UNDP. Then this is the Beneria article, which is, as I said again, is the main article of today's lecture. So basically, Beneria argues the project of creating monetary value for unpaid work is an important step for putting missing piece of economy in its place, but it's a process that contains several challenges. So first, she describes different types of well, not unpaid work, but unaccounted work. Actually, one of them is here paid work. The first one is subsistence work, which is actually this picture is actually making up for it. It is the most recognized part of the unpaid work. It's really unpaid work, by the way. Subsistence means survival. So, in order to survive as a family, I do certain types of work which are just helping our family, no one else. What is that? Well, basically, I can say I don't have enough money to basically go to a restaurant, which I could do, which I'm doing, by the way, in this Corona days, especially when I'm locked up in the house and I'm completely alone. I don't have family inside my house. I very much like to go to the cafeteria, which is open, which means to be open, to eat for both my lunch and dinner. And this money is, at least in my opinion, in my case, not that much expensive. So I'm going there. But let's say I'm not able to pay that money, which may make me to cook myself or clean my house myself. So to survive, basically, I can buy food from outside, but I still need to cook them to survive. But basically means survival means actually growing, producing the actual food you need. So basically, survival or subsistence sector is considered as farming. Usually considered as the farming work. You can say sector, although it's not exact sector. So I do farming. I collect my products and I eat what I have grown. I don't buy anything from outside, or maybe I buy certain things from outside, but those things are basically some luxury things. So my main food consumption is still consists of what I have produced. Um, I might even have some small vegetable gardens and some animals to basically give me some milk and maybe eggs and some fruits, some vegetables. So my diet might be almost full, although occasionally I might buy something from outside, maybe spices. I don't know, which is not available in my village. So this subsistence work, even in 1950s, 60s, it was common in many countries, especially where villages are more numerous. And there is some movement to make it more common also in today's world, especially anarchist movements are doing that. Grow your own food, basically. Although in my house we have a garden, but that garden is not ours, so we cannot plant that garden. In the United States, surprisingly, there are some city gardens where you can basically they give you a plot within the city. They buy an area, they give you plots, and you can grow your food and then bring it to your home. And similarly, there are city animal pens where basically you can raise animals, and while you are not there, they are looking for them. But anyway, the subsistence sector is one of the sectors, and it can be large. And early on, there were attempts to add this to the GDP, this sector to the GDP, taking into account work done in these sectors, basically, the number of hours. But basically, Beneria argues even then it was not that clear. The the women's work in the subsistence sector was not that clear, because even when subsistence sector was something that was accounted for, usually the women's work in this sector might be not that easily separable from the domestic work, house cleaning, cooking, those type of things. So when women work in this sector, their services in this sector might be sometimes under accounted, according to Beneria. So this is one unpaid work area. Another one is the shadow economy, or informal economy, the economy that is not maybe paying taxes, not registered, not easily visible. Although there are some ways to detect this economy, at certain area they might not cover their tax. For example, they might be using an excessive amount of energy, which can be actually giving their existence away. And there are also attempts to capture this side of economic system. Are women more common in this type of in this section of the economy? Yes, they are more common in this section of the economy, because mostly the paid economy is usually men were more dominant in the paid economy in general. So when women enter the economy, informal side of the economy, where men held their positions more firmly, it might be more difficult to find jobs. Men might be even resistant to get women to the unions. So for women, the part where they can find jobs might be, in many cases, the informal side of the economic system. So here the woman might be also more common. Then we have the domestic work. So and whether domestic work is also part of the economic production or not was a big discussion. Well, let me talk about this actually, or the last two, domestic work and volunteering, in the next part, basically, because we are coming close to the 15-minute mark. So see you then in the second part.